Hi guys, it's me, Rocco, and today, if you have remembered, about 5 or 6 months ago, Munipals got a new update and they released 3 new things. Double A, the 6 Express, and the new flyer escalator bus, the XC60. But recently, around 1 month ago or 3 weeks ago, Munipals made a new update and they released 2 new trains. And these 2 new trains, I'm actually surprised about. First up, we got the 9 train. So if you don't know what the 9 train is, I'm actually surprised that Munipals actually released this, because if you don't know what the 9 train is, the 9 train was released back in 1989, and it was basically like the 1 train, but instead it was skip-stop service. And because of this skip-stop service, that means the 1 train had to be skip-stop as well. So let me demonstrate what I'm talking about. So you know the 1 train terminates at 242nd Street, right? Where's the 1 train? So you know that the 1 train terminates at 242nd Street, right? In the Bronx. So what the thing would be is that the one in the 9 train, the last stop would be 242nd Street, and then the 9 train, next stop will be 238th Street. But instead, the 1 train would pass by 238th Street and go express to 231st Street. And then the 9 train, what it would do, it would skip 231st Street, and then the 9 train would stop at 225th Street, Marble Hill. And then the 1 train would skip 225th Street, and then it would stop at 215th Street, skips 207th, skips 181, and then skips 181, and then they both stop at 168. And then after they both stop at 168, they do the same thing again, skip, until after 125th Street, they both go local. That was the 9 train. But sadly, on May 31st of 2005, the 9 train was discontinued, and the reason why is the damages from the 9/11 attack from the Twin Towers damaged the 9 train so hard that they had to cancel it, the whole line. Anyways, the next train is, you're going to be really surprised about this. I present to you the work train's cousin, Money Train. The Money Train. So if you don't know what the Money Train is, the Money Train was first made in 1981, and since at that time the MTA had a lot of money. In 1981, the MTA actually had $6 billion. Yeah, in 1981, the MTA had $6 billion, not million, $billion, $8 billion, and they were like, so where should we keep this $8 billion? And they had an idea. So what they would do is, they would take the R61, just take out the middle door, we kind of repaint it a little bit, and then turn it into this, the Money Train. And they would also add cages over here so that when the Money Train approaches the station, people won't get in and steal the money. And this is what it would do. The first station for the Money Train to go to was Day Street Metrotech, all the way in Brooklyn. on the F train side, on the Manhattan-bound F train side, if you've been to J Street Metro Tech before, on the Manhattan-bound F train side, you would probably see this small cage, this small metal garage door, and you see MT on top of it. You might be wondering, what does MT stand for? Money train. Money train. And then during late nights, between midnight and 6 in the morning, what the money train would do, they would come twice that night, roll up at the station. They'll roll up at the station, and during that time, there was no metal door there. They would stop at the platform side. But the one problem is, it would stop when people were there. So then people would just quickly run into the train, steal some money, and then do not get caught. I mean, this was a huge problem from the MTA. And just by this, the MTA lost $500 million just from that problem, which meant they had $7.5 billion now. That was a huge problem. So instead, they had an idea. Make a metal door on the side. That's what they would do. And then instead, there would be people waiting in the door to bring the money into the train. And some people would break the glass to get into the train, run into the cage, and then steal the money and just hide. That was another big problem for them. So they added these cages at the windows to the doors too, to the windows, so that no one could break in. But then, sadly, in 1994, the money train sadly was retired for about 5 or 6 years. And then around 2000, that's when the money train came back. But this time, they would only come 4 times a month, which means that they would come once a week to pick up the money, from the station, leave it there, and yeah. And after 2010s came in, the money train was started to not get used anymore. And in 2011, the money train would now only come twice a month. And actually, in 2014, the MTA canceled the money train completely. And instead, they storaged the money into Manhattan. So they don't really use it, but sometimes they have to use it. And after 2014, and in 2015, it was recorded that the money train pulled up into the station 6 times in 2015, which is very less. So yeah, the money train is not really used anymore. It's only used sometimes. And there's only 2, and actually the money train would be in only 1 car, just this. And there's only 2 money train cars left. There used to be 20, but then 18 was scraped. But then 10 was scraped in 1998, and then another 8 was scraped in 2014. The same year that the money train was half temporarily and half permanently closed. Which means that there are only 2 money train cars left. But in 2022, one of the 2 money train cars was scraped, so that means there's only 1 car left in 2025. And the MTA announced by 2026, next year, the money train service will be banned completely, and they will all be in Manhattan. So that means there's only 1 car left for the money train. And so far, the money train pulled up to the station only twice this year. One time it was in April, and another time was in September, just 1 month ago. So now you know the 2 new trains. Go to Trainland in Lynbrook to go buy them. But all the money trains were out. Because I got the last one.